Hi, today we're going to talk about rejection, and I'm going to give you some tips to help you to handle rejection better. And in a few moments, I'm also going to share with you a quick story about a time when I experienced rejection myself. So, we have all been rejected at some point in our lives, whether if it was a job or a school that we applied to or a person that we liked. Rejection hurts. It brings out all kinds of negative feelings and emotions out. It makes us feel sad, embarrassed, and maybe even angry or humiliated. And it can really damage our self-esteem if and have us question our self-worth if we let it. The biggest problem is that when someone rejects us, we tend to go right to that story that's playing in the back of our minds about ourselves. And it is always our biggest insecurity, too. And we make this experience entirely about this story. So, what is it for you? Is it your body? Is it your nose? Is it your height? Is it your hair? Is it that you're not smart enough or cool enough? I mean, there's so many things that people are insecure about. But in reality, rejection is not that black and white. It actually involves many parts. And I'm going to take being rejected by a guy as an example for this video. So maybe there was a guy at work that you had a crush on. And finally, one day, you mustered up the courage to go up and talk to him or send him a message. And you did not get the reaction that you were hoping for. Maybe he said he wasn't interested, or maybe he said that you weren't his type, or whatever he said. What did you do? Did you instantly run to that story that's in the back of your mind about yourself? Oh, I'm not skinny enough, or my nose is too big, or I'm too old. You pick your story. And you probably use this person's response to reaffirm your own insecurities. See, I am too fat. See, my nose is too big. You see, I don't look pretty enough. Of course, because that tends to be the knee jerk reaction when we feel vulnerable and insecure, especially after we put ourselves out there like that. Your ego takes a hit and then you feel down in the dumps. Does that sound familiar? So, the first thing I would say to do is accept it. Try to put your ego aside for a moment and understand that many people have different reasons for their preferences and they have nothing to do with you. Accept the outcome, don't try to change it. Having this kind of mindset can really help you to see the facts instead of tuning into your self limiting beliefs. Think about it. This person decided a long time ago that for whatever reason, this body type, this personality, this age, this look, whatever it was their type, period. And it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with you or your value as a person. It has everything to do with them. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. Everyone is entitled to have a type. I have a type, you have a type. And everyone has their reasons and their stories as to why. If you can let that sink in and process this in your mind, I think it will really help. That person has an outlook on certain qualities based on their own experiences that happened without you. And maybe they're superficial, but again, it has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So, here, I will tell you a quick story about my rejection experience. So, a couple of years after I got divorced, I decided to start dating again. And I did the online dating thing. It was actually really fun. But I remember this one time I matched up with this really cool guy who had similar interests as I did. And we talked a couple of times, but that was it. And I'm like a no nonsense person at this point in my life. So I wanted to see if we were going to meet, if he lost interest, whatever, just give it to me. So I reached out and he very quickly and kindly explained that he thought I was very interesting and he found me very attractive, but he was hesitating because of my age. So I believe I was 36 at the time or 37 and he was 35. And he was part of Doctors Without Borders. He was a doctor without borders. So he was constantly traveling and looking for a partner that he can travel with and continue these missions for a few years before settling down and having children. And in his experience, the women his age and older were really not so down for this plan. And honestly, I wasn't really sure that it would work for me either. So that was it. So it did hurt my ego at first. I admit it. You see, when I got divorced, I had been out of the single lane for almost 20 years and I was 34. So one of the first things I said to myself was, oh my God, I'm so old. Who's going to want to date me now? Or I really made a lot of things about my age. So when this guy mentioned my age, it brought me right back to that story that I once had in my head about my age. But fortunately, at this point, I had already been doing a lot of self work. So after thinking about it for a bit, I realized that I was really grateful for this guy's honesty and I really respected him for it. And I really didn't care about my age anymore. But most importantly, I was able to conclude that this was not about me. This was about his experience. And I was able to release any negative emotions I felt at the time. So remember, it's not about you. Just look at the facts and don't jump to your internal negative dialogue. Number two, applaud yourself. Applaud yourself for having the courage to approach this person. That took guts. Revel in this act and not on the actual outcome. And think about another time in your life where you were terrified to do something and pushed yourself to do it anyway. Maybe it was asking your boss for a raise. Maybe you needed to stand up for yourself to a friend or a family member. Or maybe you needed to cut somebody off from your life who was very toxic for you. Or maybe you left your career to start a brand new one that you were secretly passionate about. Whatever this thing was that you were afraid to do but did anyway, how did that make you feel when you finally took that leap and did it? Pretty awesome, right? That's what you need to focus on. And yes, pat yourself on the back. Number three, elevate your own value by doing something that makes you proud of yourself each day. So do things that align you to who you want to be as a person. So you can start by writing down all of the accomplishments and contributions that you have made in your life already and the ones that you still want to make. So what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of friend? What kind of partner? What kind of change do you want to see in your community, in the world? Do things that stand up for these values and make sure to be proud of yourself. And finally, don't settle. When you continue to be proactive in your self development, you will attract the right kind of person, the right kind of career, etc. But of course, every once in a while, the wrong ones will appear. But as long as you're grounding yourself and doing things to elevate your vibration and your self esteem, you will be able to spot the wrong people or the wrong things and not allow them to waste time and space in your life. You will attract things that are good, real, and lasting for you. And that's it. Accept that rejection is part of life. And of course, it's okay to feel upset about it when it first happens. Just don't get to the point where you're allowed to take over. Don't beat yourself up and don't talk down to yourself about it. Talk to your friends about it if you can't shake it. You might not even be seeing the facts because you're so caught up in your mind story. Maybe you did not get that partner, that guy, that girl, because you were not compatible and it would have been a disaster from the start. Maybe you didn't get that job because you were meant to do something else. Maybe things didn't work out with your marriage because you were meant to find someone so much better for you. Look for the valuable insight instead of allowing yourself to feel like a failure and say, no one is going to love me or no one is going to hire me. Use this opportunity to improve yourself or sharpen whatever skills you feel you need to sharpen. Look for the facts to understand the whole picture instead of letting self-limited beliefs take over. At the end of the day, the only person whose approval you should care about is your own. And by the way, if you find your rejection excruciating or you're stuck with that incident that happened long, long ago, and no matter what you've done, you can't get rid of it, this may be an indicator that you have low self-esteem. And in an upcoming segment that I'm going to do, I will give you some simple and effective ways to improve this. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for joining my channel, Girlfriend's Guide to Starting Over After Divorce. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If any of this has resonated for you, please leave me any comments, any suggestions, whatever you want to say. I would love to hear your story. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload new videos, which is pretty much every Friday. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.